Hi, how you doing, everybody? It's me, Waddles. Welcome to this weekend. 21. Minecraft 1.21. 21. Over the course of the next however long this video is, we're going to take a look at 21 different things about Minecraft 1.21. From potential secret new mobs to different cool uses for the new blocks. Keep track of how many of these ones you know, and let me know how you did at the end, down below. Minecraft 1.21. It's a beautiful update. I feel like the spot that makes the most sense to begin is with the release date. Did you know that the release date of Minecraft 1.21 has already kind of been announced? During Minecraft Live, when revealing this next big update, the devs refer to this as the mid-2024 update. With 2024 being this game's 15th anniversary, they also kind of alluded to even more happening in that year. I wonder what that could mean. Minecraft Live 2020. An infamous event that has caused years and years worth of updates. At Minecraft Live 2020, the Caves and Cliffs update was revealed. When this was revealed, this was back when there was only one Caves and Cliffs update, not two, or three, or I guess if you really want to stretch it, four. Unless, of course, this beautiful boy finally pops up inside of this update, Minecraft 1.21 is going to be the first update since the Caves and Cliffs update without any Caves and Cliffs features inside of the update. 1.17 and 1.18, they were pretty self-explanatory, being the proper Caves and Cliffs update. 1.19 added the Deep Dark biome from the update, and 1.20 followed up with the archaeology system, originally intended to be buried under the caves and inside of the cliffs. Over on the Minecraft YouTube channel, from time to time, there are videos. Shocker. Aside of the Minecraft Monthly that dropped at the beginning of November, we got another look at 1.21, and more importantly for this one, another look at the Mob Boat winner. Potentially, by the time the armadillo is rolled into the game and the update releases, there might actually end up being more than one color of this thing. Take a look at this concept art right here. I mean, it is beautiful looking. So we kind of actually already know the theme of Minecraft 1.21, and it seems like a super tight and consistent theme as well. When the devs were revealing Minecraft 1.21, they called this an update all about combat, adventures, and tinkering. From the looks of literally every single feature inside of this update already, the theme is so concise. With such a concise theme already, there's a pretty decent chance that the devs take a look at combat that is completely different on both Java and Bedrock, and maybe finally get around to updating it for the game's 15th anniversary. Next up, it's time for the star of the show, at least right now. The big, the bad, the dangerous, the breeze. The breeze is Minecraft 1.21's big bad guy. Did you know that it is possible to trap the breeze inside of a boat? It might be a little bit tricky with those wind balls, but it's definitely possible. Stop it with the balls, my guy. A little more interestingly though, if we can trap the breeze inside of the boat somehow, with enough patience and determination, well, the breeze can actually move inside of the boat. And it's the first mob to be able to do this. The breeze is currently the only mob that uses the tag can move in boat, and that means it can spin full 360. Combine the breeze with its little breeze balls and some well-timed hits, and you can make the breeze basically power itself around your world. It's kind of funny. From its name to how it's actually made up, the breeze is a mob built entirely out of wind. And what happens if wind's under the water? Well, if you put the breeze under the water, it will rocket all the way up to the surface, almost like it's inside of a bubble column or something. If you trap it underwater, it'll start freaking out and then eventually just drown. So, I don't know. That's the thing. Because of how this mob likes to move, this one might be a little bit tricky to show off, but did you know that the breeze, they like lets out breezes, and those breezes, they can actually unlight candles if they hit close enough to them. To pull it off, all you need to do is send the breeze's ball to the ground next to a candle, and it'll unlight. The breeze, it is definitely beautiful, but it's also a little bit unfinished right now. There'll be more with this guy later on. Let's move on to the crafter, because did you know, this is actually a storage block. Yeah, no, that's right. Of course, we all know about the tried and true, the trusty chest, the ender chest, and that chest. It is one of the chests of all time. In 1.20.3, pots were given this really cool functionality as well. In 1.21 though, the crafter, because of how this thing functions, you could actually leave things inside of it, walk away, and maybe like come back in 10 days, and those things will still be there. The plain old normal crafting table, it does not work like that. If you put things in it and leave it, they teleport magically back to your inventory. But the crafter, I mean, I don't know, look at the side of that thing. That could make a cool cabinet or something. It's pretty nice. Another cool thing about the crafter is how it behaves when it comes to containers. So let's say we had a small clock hooked up to a crafter right here, a couple hoppers, and then maybe an input chest up top. If I go ahead and let this signal run, when it has the blocks, it'll craft the ingredients. If I wanted to put those ingredients, say, automatically into storage, all you need to do is put a chest right in front, no hopper or nothing needed. And it just works. It's kind of magic. So the crafter and all of its cool rotations is a really cool feature. It's going to revolutionize farming, but I would like to move on to another great feature. And speaking of greats, the copper grate is a really fascinating new piece of copper. Made entirely out of copper, just like all other copper things. It's kind of like the copper version of a glass or a window or something. Now this copper grate is pretty great because it has a lot of cool functionalities, like how mobs don't spawn on it, it lets light through, it doesn't suffocate mobs and stuff like that. Did you know that you can actually also waterlog the copper grate too? If it's on land, the water will stay like almost all the way filled up, but not all the way. On the other hand, if you have a water situation that gets a little bit more deep, and then you waterlog the copper grate itself, it will fill all the way up with water, from the bottom to the top. Cut, we're near the midpoint of the list today, and I've got a little challenge for you. Down below in the comments right now, drop one thing that you think people are sleeping on or missing out on in 1.21. In other words, one thing you think I don't know about 1.21. Drop that down below. While you're doing that, tap that like button really quick, helps me out huge time, always appreciate it. And let's get back to the list. So alongside the transparency, no mob spawning thing, this is actually going to make the copper grate decently useful inside of farms. To build the ultimate cobblestone generator for 1.21, check this out. We start with some waterlogged copper grates. Dead center in the middle, lava bucket right there, and every single time the lava spills out, it will automatically make brand new cobblestone, and the water will stay contained inside of the grates. This is pretty great. The copper bulb is another pretty cool copper thing coming to the game in 1.21. Did you know there are 32 versions of this block coming to the game? Yeah, so check this out. By default, we have the plain old copper bulb. If we send a little bit of power into it, then we get this one over there. It's got power and a redstone dot in the middle. If we go ahead and take the power away, then we would get this one right there. Then if we add the power back, we get this one with a redstone dot in the middle, but nothing there. So that's 4 different versions for this one. That's 4 more for this one, 4 more for that one, 4 more for that one. So that's 16 so far. Take into account the fact that you can wax this thing, and that doubles it. That means, in a way, there are 32 versions of the copper bulb coming to the game in 1.21. Another pretty neat thing about the copper bulb is, of course, is a brand new light source making it to the game in this update, just like glowstone sea lanterns or maybe even froglight. The copper bulb, just like the redstone lamp that came a million years before it, is also a toggleable light source. But not only is this a toggleable light source, but it's a variable light source as well. The more oxidization the copper bulb has experienced, the more dim it's going to be. This one right here, the second to last step, the waxed weathered copper bulb, more specifically, is the first light source in survival Minecraft to give off a light level of 8. Right now, it seems like basically the main part of Minecraft 1.21 is this new structure called the Trial Chambers. The Trial Chambers is a brand new underground structure, basically Dungeon 2.0. With the structure being an underground structure, unfortunately, it has no signs, no tells from the surface. That all is going to amount to quite a bit of luck. If you're looking for the trial chambers, you're going to have to slide down to the ground, get real deep, and hopefully, while dodging baby zombies, oh god, dodging baby zombies, you find the trial chambers. A little bit of a pro tip, though, when it comes to locating the trial chambers is, well, first off, it generates in deep slate range, but more specifically, the entrance room, the start of the structure, always generates between -40 and -20. That all means with the structure being like decently common, maybe you make a branch mine at like -30 and just hopefully get lucky. Now that cave a second ago, it was a little bit terrifying, but now that I've made it into the trial chambers, I'm gonna be like relatively safe, right? Relatively speaking. Of course, we've got these spawners that are gonna drop mobs in, but if I can stay away from the spawners, not within 14 blocks, no other mobs will actually spawn inside of this thing. Yeah, that's right. So sort of just like the Deep Dark biome, or maybe even the Mushroom Island biome, the devs have basically set the structure to spawn 0 outside mobs inside of it. Even if I run around and consistently take away every single light source inside of this structure, nothing will ever spawn, other than any trial mobs. Little asterisk with this one, I don't think that's how it's working on Bedrock right now. So Bedrock gang, just hang in there and be safe. Even though the devs haven't touched the loot in a while, they have currently stated that the loot inside of the trial chambers is 100% unfinished, and they're gonna come back around to it eventually at some point. We just don't exactly know when. Even though across the board the loot is a little bit subpar, did you know that inside of this structure, very, very rarely, inside of the pots that you can find inside of these big hallways and across the rest of the structure, which apparently I've already found them all here, so yeah. Anyways, from time to time, inside of these pots that you'll find generating in the structure, you could actually get a solid block of diamonds. Yeah, like, no, this version of the block right here, fully solid, blocked up diamonds. That solid diamond block right now is probably going to be the best thing you can find in the entire structure. Now, speaking of the entire structure, did you know that this structure is seemingly missing some rooms? When the trial chambers was first shown off in Minecraft Live, more specifically the breeze, there was a chamber room that was big and open and had trapdoor traps on the floor. Fast forward to nowadays, and there are some trapdoors inside of the chambers, but no like floor trapdoor traps inside of the chambers. I can't lie, this one does kind of make me a little bit sad. I feel like a big room like this would be so cool with like trapdoors that you could fall into on the ground. I hope they update the structure even more and add a trapdoor room back. Pausing our whole trial chamber trial for a second though, let's take a look at some of these traps, because did you know usually these traps are pretty annoying or bad even, but not always. Some of these traps could actually be a little bit beneficial. Occasionally, it seems very, very occasionally, you'll be able to find dispensers inside of the trial chambers with potions inside of them. But not just any kind of potion, actually healing potions. Yeah, so from checking around every dispenser in this room, definitely didn't have any healing this time, but it can happen. Every single trial chamber structure pulls potential trial mobs from a mob pool. From nightmarish baby zombies to spiders, there's a lot of different mobs that can show up inside of the trial chambers. But on Bedrock, there's one less. Out of the mobs that can show up inside of the trial chambers as trial mobs, the poison skeleton does not exist on Minecraft Bedrock Edition, like at all. Considering the fact that all of the mobs are bad, but yeah, apparently they're really bad. Look, in their own way, all of the mobs here are bad, but definitely the poison skeleton is the most bad one. It's kind of crazy. The poison skeleton doesn't exist at all over on Bedrock Edition. I wonder if that means a new version of the mob is going to come soon. Oh, and while we're at it, another bonus fact right here. The trial chamber mobs will never despawn. Even if they defeat me and I go far, far away and come back, they're going to be lingering around, waiting for me to finish off the trial. So, yeah. Next up, let's take a look at the trial spawner, because I feel like a whole lot of mystery shrouds this thing. One of the big things with the trial chambers is its replayability. You can head over to a trial chambers, take it on, win the trial, then come back later after its cooldown is done, and take it on again. Another big part of the trial chambers is how the difficulty changes, maybe gets a little bit easier or harder with more people. The more people that come to the trial chambers, the more mobs that will come out of the spawners. If you're brave and bold and decide to take the trial chambers on your own, the most amount of mobs that'll pop out of the spawner is 6, but only up to 3 at a time. If I had 3 stray in a room and I took one out, then the trial spawner that they came from would be able to drop 1 more new stray in. Eventually, once 6 mobs are taken out, the stray challenge is done, at least on solo. But every single trial spawner is different. From my experience, it seems like the trial spawners that spawn the breeze usually spawn 2 breeze maximum. But with the breeze, never at the same time. So that's good. Last but not least, definitely not least, we have a giant part of 1.21 that we haven't even mentioned at all. I guess I could say that the brick on the chiseled tough brick block is the same brick as the brick on the tough brick block, but that's kind of obvious. I guess I could also say the chiseled tough references the breeze, but also a little bit obvious. Instead, I want to say polished tough wall. This is the first version of a block that is polished, that is like, relatively, well, I don't know how I should say it, because it's not like the first relatively common one. Deep slate is so common, and blackstone is pretty common too, but andesite, granite, and diorite, they don't have a polished wall, but tough does. And tough is kind of like the same, at least in my eyes, as those other blocks. It all really makes me wonder if maybe by the time 1.21 releases, we at least get a granite wall that is polished. Please? 21 things about Minecraft 1.21 that you didn't know. How'd you do? Sincerely and deeply, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. Subscribe for more videos just like this one if you haven't yet. Today, I would like to send a huge thank you to my patrons who help make content like this possible. Archangel, Ground Crazy May, Medical Boomstick, Swoopy Louvers, Noodle Pork, Bill W, Tanner B, Austin B, Andrew H, and Gabriel Y. You're the best. If you haven't yet, leave one more secret little thing about 1.21 down below, and maybe I'll make a follow-up. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.